I don't think I've played a ranked game in about 3 seasons now. Yeah, it's just, it takes a while to come up on my, there it goes.
The individual could be a high-level target.
I can't go to heaven. I'm an analyst. You know.
Seems like 2 minutes is forever when you're checking to make sure that the stream's up right. So we'll
Tell you what, I'll drop out. I'll watch it.
okay.
I think this is cool.
Okay. So then you won't be gathering, right?
No.
Okay, we're good.
But
You can just send me a message if there's anything messed up.
yeah, no worries. Let me know when you're doing your next one, and I'll try and jump on it.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, thanks. Hello.
Oh, you can still hear me. Hello.
Yeah, you just started a new call, right?
No, it was an accident. I just sent you a message. Everyone can hear our chat, even though you're running the role.
Alright, I'm gonna do this before I start the game.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Wait.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Alpha Team League. We're getting ready to start our first game. This is a best of 5. If either one of the teams reaches 3 wins before the last game, the tournament will actually be over. And today's teams are Psionic Aftermath versus BornG. We will be starting on Dreamcatcher, and the players on Dreamcatchers will be Hoffman for Psionic Aftermath. He is a random player against Hunter, and he is a Protoss player. And we're now going in the game. So this is the first of what could be a best of 5. My name is Kid01. And bear with me just a little bit, because this is my second time just solo casting. But we're going to do the best that we can. And if you guys notice anything, please let me know. I'm going to do the best that I can. And probably going to leave it in the in-game overlay, so we don't do any radio broadcasts. Just getting ready to start the game. So, on Dreamcatcher, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, playing as our red Protoss player for BornG, it is Hunter. And spawning in the upper left-hand corner, spawning as our green Terran player, playing for Psionic Aftermath, it is Hoffman. So Hoffman is the random player, and he is going to be playing Terran. And we do have our Protoss player spawning in the bottom left. So I hope everything sounds alright. Just got a quick little probe scout by Hunter. Just kind of checking things out, checking the gases. And he is just opening up one gas and going into a barracks. Now he's starting another barracks on the left side of the base, out of the vision of the Protoss player. So we might be going for something like a 2-1-1. Gotta change a quick setting here. There we go. Now we can zoom in and out. So Hoffman's taking his second gas and putting down a reactor on his barracks. The Protoss player for Gosu is now taking his second gas. Got down his cybernetics core, so he's not making anything yet out of the gateway, so he'll probably just hold off and make an adept or a stalker. So keep in mind, I'm solo casting. I'm going to try and keep up with all the action along with not mess up the stream. So Hunter is chrono boosting an adept out. And yeah, it looks like it's going to potentially be a 2-1-1. We have stim started for Hoffman. The factory is going down. He's actually not taking a second base, so he may be doing just a one base all in. So again, welcome to the Alpha Team League. This is the second week of the league. Looks like Hoffman is putting down an engineering bay and the starport, which with the reactor, he should be switching over the factory to the reactor and getting the double medevacs. There is a robo down for Hunter, and he is chrono boosting out an observer. So yeah, it looks like Hoffman just wants to do a one base with a +1. Looks like he wanted to pick up his command center there and move it, but actually it was supposed to be a starport, so he's moving that onto the reactor and should be getting double medevac. We have our Protoss player Hoffman, who's getting charge, and he's still getting another observer out. One stock and a couple of adepts out. The 2 medevacs are just about done, and he'll be moving out with the 16 Marines, and +1's going to be not quite done, so he'll be moving out now. Not sure if the observer is going to see that or not. There is a stalker and 2 adepts out on the map just a little bit. Actually, Hunter is taking a 3rd base, so he's being a little bit greedy. Hoffman's got 27 army supply to Hunter's 10. The drops are headed toward the main base. It is not going to be in vision of the 3rd base, so he's going to be able to drop, and there's nothing in the main base of Hunter, so he's going to be able to move into an awful lot of damage. He's got stim done. Hoffman is pulling the probes, and if he unpowers that pylon, that's going to be those gateways that are unpowered. And the only thing that's there is 2 adepts and 1 stalker for Hunter. And it looks like the adepts are going to go down. And there's the GG by Hunter. What a quick game by Hoffman to take the first game of the series for Psionic Aftermath. So that was a really quick game. That was a one. I don't know if it was necessarily a one base, because he could have just done a Reaper expand and still hit just about the same timing. But yeah, that was a really quick game. So we're going to go ahead and stay on the in-game overlay so that I don't forget to switch that. We've done that before, and we've done some radio broadcasts, which is not the best thing to do. But so yeah, that puts Psionic Aftermath up 1-0 in the best of 5. So glad you guys can join us today for the Alpha Team League. Again, my name is Kid Knot. I am solo casting today, so we'll be getting ready to go into game number 2, which should be on 16-bit. We'll be announcing our players when we get into in-game. A lot of times they switch the players around once they know what the other team's players are going to be. I believe they have up until 15 minutes prior to the match starting. So then that gives them a chance to switch things around, but doesn't give them too much warning on who's going to be playing and what race they're going to be playing. So it looks like we have a diamond. Actually, we have a Masters playing, and I'm not sure if the other one has actually gotten his. Let me check this real quick. View his profile. So we have a Diamond 3 against a Masters 3. So playing for Psionic Aftermath is going to be TBA, and playing for Gosu is going to be Heißwasser, which is actually pronounced Heißwasser, and what that means is hot water in German. So there's a little tidbit that maybe some of your other casters might not know. But going into game number 2, we have Psionic Aftermath up 1-0. I see Phoenix is in my chat here, He was going to co-cast with me, but he's at work, and I think he didn't want to get in trouble. But Phoenix, if you notice anything as far as sound or anything like that, please let me know. And we are playing on 16-bit. It's going to be a TVT. I've been doing quite a bit of co-casting, but this is, I think, the second main cast that I've done in a tournament. I've actually co-casted some WCS tournaments, and we do a Proxy Tempest tournament, Platinum Diamond every Tuesday. I do that with a gentleman named Andy Man. So we'll go ahead and introduce our players. Playing in the bottom left-hand corner, spawning as the Green Terran player for Gosu, it is Heiswasser. And spawning in the upper right-hand corner, playing for Psionic Aftermath, our Blue Terran player, it is TBA. So TVT, not necessarily my forte, but I'm familiar enough with it that I should be able to get through it. I actually do a lot of coaching, primarily Zerg, but I've actually got one person that I'm coaching that is a Diamond 2 Terran player, so it's not like I'm totally ignorant to the other races. Looks like they're both going to be going up with very early double gases, which is probably going to delay their second command center a little bit, and I would assume they're going to go into an early factory. Yep, it is 1-0 for Psionic Aftermath. We do have that factory coming up for both players. It looks like TBA is just a touch earlier. There is a Reaper coming out for both players. So it looks like pretty much mirror builds. We're going to have to see if Heiswasser can keep up with TBA. He is probably a little bit of a disadvantage just because he is a Diamond 3 versus a Masters 3. Thanks, Phoenix. I hope everything sounds alright. Looks like TBA just wants to do a little scouting just to make sure that there's not a proxy anyplace. And the Reaper for Heiswasser will be staying at home, just so he doesn't get out and lose that. Looks like Heiswasser is making, actually they're both making Cyclones. So they're both going into the Cyclone Reaper, and looks like TBA is getting ready to put down his second command center, as is Heiswasser. So yeah, they're both doing the same builds. Again, I think TBA is just a little bit ahead. He is getting his starport a little bit earlier. Command centers are pretty much the same. So Heiswasser did switch his factory over to the tech lab, whereas the tech lab, or the reactor, I'm sorry, the reactor for TBA is a little bit later. So it looks like TBA wants to go into a medevac and still producing Cyclones one at a time out of the factory. So it looks like a couple of Reapers went into Baxter's base, and the Cyclones were able to push that back. They actually got one of the Reapers. And now the medevac is out with two of the Cyclones in it, moving across the map, probably toward the natural base. And the Reaper actually made it into the base of Heiswasser, and actually got 3 worker kills. So they definitely paid for themselves. The drop is coming into the base of Heiswasser, and Looks like actually he's pulling a bunch of the boys to go across the map with the 4 Cyclones. I have to speed up my scroll speed just a little bit. But the drop is in the natural base of Heisswasser and was able to kill some more of the SCVs. Total of 4 have gone down, but the Cyclones are moving across the map. There's 4 of those, and for TBA, it looks like he's got a couple of Cyclones and 4 Marines. The Cyclones are going up, and they took out the bunker, and now they're working on the Marines. He is pulling the SCVs, but the Cyclones are just tearing those SCVs apart. It looks like they are able to get the to finally clean those up, but there was quite a bit of damage done. There was actually, well, actually there was only 2 SCVs killed. So that was a really good hold by TBA. And now it looks like he is moving back in toward the natural base with the 2 Cyclones. And going to go back into the SCV line. So he's still killing SCVs and mules, and it looks like Heisswasser is down to 6 workers. There's another quick GG, and Psionic Aftermath takes a quick 2-0 lead. So I think there again, I think that was probably just a little bit of a disadvantage as far as the ranking is concerned, but it was still a great game by both players. Change one more on my settings. This could be a really quick series here. It looks like Psionic Aftermath, they're going to be on game point for, or match point here for the rest of the day. So we will be going to our 3rd match that will be played on Acid Plant. Yeah, that was definitely sloppy losing the Reaper. Lazy kid not. Oh, Andy, come on. What do you mean he knows the hotkeys? I don't normally use WCS. Give me a break. Andy, man, my buddy. So we are getting ready to go into game number 3 on Acid Plant. Like I say, this is match point for the rest of the tournament here. And we're going to be having Hot Stove playing against Quartz. I guess it's Quartz. So we're going to have a ZVT. And to be quite honest, this is one of my favorite matchups, as Andy Man can attest. Check our, looks like Hot Stove for Gosu has his highest ranking is a Diamond 3, and Quartz is currently a Diamond 1. So again, it looks like Psionic Aftermath is going to have just a little bit of an advantage as far as the rankings are concerned. But TVZ can go either way, as you all know. I can do that. And I will turn that down just a little bit. Tell me how that sounds when we get back in there. Benek says he wants to get that 3-0. Yeah, that'd be quick. This would be the shortest stream in Sonic Aftermath's history because the first two games were pretty short. And I do know some of the hotkeys. I don't know all of them. That's why I was going to talk to you earlier, Andy, man. Okay, so we are playing on Acid Plant. And could be on match point here. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner. Playing for Sonic Aftermath. It is your blue Zerg player, Quartz. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. As another Zerg player, he must have switched. I thought he was going to be playing Terran. So we have a ZVZ. So this could definitely be the shortest series that we ever had. But spotting in the bottom right-hand corner for Gosu, it is Hot Stove. So it doesn't look like anything cheeky going on here. It looks like they're both going to be going for the hatch first. Hey, Snoopy. Well, thanks for the 5 bits. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. I enjoy casting. Always done pretty much co-casting with Mr. Andy Man and a few other people. Faith, I've been co-casting with, but we're gonna work on doing some casting myself, either solo or with some co-casters with me, and see how that goes. But they are both opening up just hatch gas pool, fairly standard. Yeah, Phoenix is back, and he's going to be doing some more casting with us. So pretty much mirrored builds right now. We're just going to see, I would assume they're both going to be getting Ling speed. A few Lings being made by Hot Stove. And Ling speed is started by Quartz. So Quartz is starting up 4 Lings. They're both making a couple of queens. We'll see who puts down a Baneling nest. Or potentially goes right into roaches. Looks like Quartz wants to take a fairly quick third base. Don't see a drone moving over there yet for Hot Stove. So Quartz does get his third base down. And he's going to have enough Lings go over there, and he's going to be able to stop any of the Ling pressure from Hot Stove. So he's not going to be able to deny that third hatchery. But looks like Hot Stove wants to go right into a Evo chamber and also a Roach Warren. So he may be doing like a 2-base Roach push. He has started his lair to get his Roach speed. And of course should be okay with that as long as he doesn't overdrone, which sometimes they do have a tendency to do when they take that third base. But he does have his Overlord by the third base of Hot Stove, so he's going to see that he is not taking a third base, so he should not be overdroning. Looks like Hot Stove wants to wall right off and get 2 Evo chambers, Roach Warren, and he's also got a Spine Crawler, so he's going to definitely be walling off. There is a Baneling that's going down for Quartz. But with that wall off, there is a lot of Zerglings trying to get into the main base of Hot Stove. He's got some queens, he's got Lings, and he does have that Spine Crawler, so he's going to be able to hold that off. So it looks like Course is now going to go ahead and go into that Roach Warren. We have +1 missile on the way for Hot Stove, and he's also now getting the speed for the Roaches. Still quite a few lings in front of the base of Hot Stove. He did, of course, double checked and made sure that there was no third base. So if nothing else, he's morphing in some banelings. But there's really not too much. He could actually take those banelings, hit the spine crawler, and then potentially get a good run by with his lings. Looks like Hot Stove wanted to take the third base, and that's going to be shut down. The drone does get killed by Course. So it's looking pretty good for Course at this time. He's up 47 to 42 workers. And the Army supply is up just a little bit for Hot Stove. He's continuing to get his roach upgrades. He is on 4 gases, so he's actually going to be able to make quite a bit of Ravengers also. But he's going to, it looks like he wants to push back that little bit of a Ling army for Course so that he can go over and take his third base. But that's going to be way late for Hot Stove compared to Course. The worker supply for Course is up 47 to 41, and he's actually now up in Army supply. He's making 10 roaches, actually making 4 more, so he's got 14 on the way. He is getting his roach speed. He's yet to start +1, and actually Hot Stove has switched into Aspire, and he's actually made 5 mutas. So that is not going to be scouted, but that's an awful lot of roaches that are going to be moving across the map. And the Army supply again is in favor of Course, 50 to 39. The 5 mutas are going to start working their way across the map and taking out the 1 Overlord. Should be seeing some spores coming down. There is a Hydroden coming down. He already has some spores down. So with these roaches coming across, the mutas are really not going to have an easy time to take out those roaches. It looks like Hot Stove wants to go right into +2, but the roach warring is being target fired down by Course, and he's got a pretty good Army supply, and the worker count is still in favor of Course. Army supply is in favor of Course. The mutas are trying to target fire down, and looks like Hot Stove is going to be able to clean that up, but the worker count is still in favor of Course, and he should be able to start making more units. Although he does have a considerable Army supply lead, and he's taking out more Overlords with the mutas. There's a couple of queens at each base and some spores. Some hydras being made by Course, but yeah, he's definitely floating a lot of minerals, but he needs to take some of his extra gases, which he's just now doing now. So he's trying to catch up in the Army supply. It's 46 to 68 in favor of Hot Stove. Yeah, that Spire was really sneaky. Even I didn't catch it. But that's not necessarily anything new. So the Overlord does get taken out with the Hydras by Course, and his missile attack is just now completing. He's continuing to get missile upgrades, and there's some roaches that were moving out for Hot Stove, but he decided he needed to move those back. And he's going to make some Ravagers, and he's also got a Hydra himself. We do have a Ling run by Course going into the main base, just trying to get some worker kills. He actually target fires the Hydras instead of the workers, so he's going to be able to get just one of the Hydras. So it looks like Course has been able to kill off 9 workers, but Hot Stove's been able to kill 73 Army supply by Hot Stove, so that's definitely what has kept him in the game. Looks like we do have quite a few hydras and roaches that were moving across the map, but that's going to be cleaned up by Hot Stove in a hurry. Hot Stove's up 98 to 32 in the army supply, so he should be able to just move across the map and do an awful lot of damage. He also has a lurker den that's done. So the army supply now is really in favor of Hot Stove. He's moving into the third base with a bunch of roaches, bunch of lurkers. He's got mutas, he's got lurkers, and there's a GV. BornG who takes the first game for their team, and Hot Stove is the winner. So Gosu actually gets 1 point on the board, and now we have a 2-1 lead for Psionic Aftermath. So looks like we're going to have at least a fourth game, but Psionic Aftermath will continue to be on match point. So the fourth game should be on Darkness Sanctuary. And then if we do have an ace match, that's going to be played on Redshift. Yeah, that was a good game by both players, but Gosu, he was really able to keep his army supply up, even though he was down on worker supply. I think the gas really kind of hurt our Psionic Aftermath player, but so we'll be starting game 4 here shortly. A little bit of chat and stream to in the games to see who's going to be playing the next matches. Now this time it looks like potentially the Gosu team is going to have a potential advantage with the ranking. We have a Masters 3 going against a Diamond 2. ZVZ is a little bit hard to solo cast. Actually, it's probably hard to cast with a co-caster, but the caster themselves, it's so hard to keep up with everything as far as run-bys and baiting hits and stuff like that. But that's ZVZ in a nutshell. So we are going on to Darkness Sanctuary, getting ready to go into game number 4. Hope you guys are enjoying today's match. So far, it's been really exciting to see Gosu come back and get a point on the board for their team. This time we'll make sure we get the race check done before I call it a ZVT. Looks like we're waiting for one more person to join the party. Looks like we're just about ready, except, there we go. Oh, looks like we're going back into the lobby. Looks like one person couldn't enter the lobby, so they're probably going to just remake that. So the race checks are correct. It looks like it's going to be a ZVP. Game number 4. I think the last time I casted for Psionic Aftermath was back in May, and I think they were down 2-0 and came back and did a reverse sweep. So that was really exciting because it was my first time solo casting, and it was for Psionic Aftermath, so I had a chance to, not that I'm biased or anything, but maybe a little bit. So as you notice, I'm not putting the out-of-game overlay up. Don't want to do a radio broadcast. The score is 2-1 for Sonic Aftermath. Getting ready now to go into game number 4. This is a 4-player map, in case some of you aren't familiar with all of the maps, which I'm sure you guys are. But this is a huge map. Not necessarily sure who it favors. Probably the Protoss player, just because they can get that third base fairly quickly unless our Zerg player does put on a lot of early aggression. But we'll go ahead and introduce our players. On Darkness Sanctuary, spawning in the upper left-hand corner, playing for Sonic Aftermath. Our purple Zerg player, it is Baxter. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, playing for Morningosu, it is our red Protoss player, Rafcio. Not sure how that's pronounced, but we'll get that a chance of Rocio. So it looks like pretty standard openings for both players. Hatch gas pool for our Zerg player. And just looks like a gateway expand potentially for Rafcio. Looks like Baxter is scouting with a second Overlord to find Rafcio. And looks like the probe scout for Rafcio is actually going to be scouting Baxter last. So I think that that's pretty even anyway. It's always nice to get a scout on your opponent first, but looks like the timing is going to be such that it really doesn't give any advantage to either one of the players. So just gateway expand by Rafcio, hatch gas pool for Baxter. And we'll be seeing the tech choice here shortly. This is quite a large ramp here. You've got to actually get a couple of extra pylons, and there's still a big gap there for the Protoss player that a lot of times they'll wall that off with like a shield battery or something like that. A couple of links being made by our Zerg player, and the Protoss player, Rafcio, is chrono boosting an Adept out. Fairly standard. So Stargate's coming down for Rafcio. He's going to go into an Adept or two. He does know where his opponent is. And the Stargate is actually made right in the wall for Rafcio. Not necessarily uncommon, especially on a 4-player map, because it's not going to be scouted terribly quickly. But Baxter should have plenty of time to get his spores down. He is getting Ling speed. And currently he's only made a couple of Lings and a couple of Queens, so he's not anticipating that the Adepts are going to be moving out. Although Baxter is making 12 more Lings, he's now going to be able to scout the Stargate, which is making an Oracle. There's a shield battery put into the wall for Rafcio. Just the one Adept in the base for Rafcio, and that gets cleaned up by all of the Lings. And he is moving across the map with a lot of those Lings and putting up his third base. Some shield batteries, extra shield batteries being put up by Rafcio. The Oracle is just about out. So there's a good force field by Rafsio. He is now making a Phoenix, but he's actually putting down a stasis ward in front of his base. He may be worried like about a Bane Bust or something like that. And it looks like there was just a lot of link pressure that he was going to put on just to maybe force a few more units out and keep his Oracle back at home. Well, a lot of the lings were caught by the stasis ward. There was 6 lings caught. So he's not going to be able to get any damage done, but with that wall, he wasn't going to be able to get much done anyway. He is going into a lair now, and he does have his spore crawlers down, so there's not going to be any damage done or very little done by the oracles. Still quite a few lings out on the map for Baxter. If nothing else, he can use those to stop any third bases from coming up, which he's checking now, and he's going to see that they are not down. The Warp Prism and the Phoenix go in toward the second base. He's going to be able to get one of the Overlords, and that's just going to maybe supply block Baxter for just a moment. Oh, he's actually got another one rallied toward the middle of the map, and that one could be taken out, and that one could definitely supply block Baxter. He is making 4 now. No, it looks like he's not going to be able to get the Overlord. He was worried about the Queens and worried about the Spore Crawler. Now the third base has gone down for Rafsio. Worker supply is up for Baxter just a little bit, 48 to 45. But that third base is already done for Baxter. He is now getting Hydras out. I don't think he's getting any upgrades other than the muscular augments. So he doesn't have any Evo chambers down, but I don't think there's any forges down for Rafsio either. There, he's putting the double forges down now, and he's also getting charge. So it looks like the Oracle and the Phoenix are just out in front of the bases of Baxter, just on a little bit of a patrol there. But Army supply right now, Baxter's actually way up at Army supply, 48 to 26. If he wanted to hit a timing attack, he's making 9 more Hydras, and as soon as that upgrade is done for the Hydralisk, he could probably actually do a timing attack. I'd kind of like to see him put a Baneley Nest down just to have with those Hydras. The third base is now done by Rafsio, and Rafsio has actually taken the Army supply lead. Yep, that would be me. I'm Kid Not, and I'm doing the casting. Rafsio's actually put down 2 Robo facilities, so he's going to be able to be pumping out 2 Immortals at a time. But it looks like Baxter wants to move out with that army, as I kind of predicted. But charge is done, and the only thing there for Baxter, he does have a bigger army supply, but it is just Lings and Hydras. They are a little bit squishy to the Zealots, but he's got an awful big army supply to go against the that of Baxter. We do have a big engagement in the front. There's a lot of army supply there for Baxter. Rafsio's trying to hold off. He is warping in some more Zealots, but there's a lot of Hydras there. He warps in 4 more charge lots, but the army just keeps moving across the map for Baxter. He's got a lot of Hydras left over. He's moving into the natural base. He's going to hit the pylons and power down all the production facility, and Baxter takes the game, giving Psionic Aftermath the victory today, 3-1. So just as that upgrade finished on those Hydralisks, he moved across the map, and I think he caught Rafsio off guard there, because he was probing up, not necessarily that he was being greedy, but I don't think he anticipated that timing attack. So yeah, that's going to give the match to Psionic Aftermath, 3-1. Both teams played very well, but Psionic Aftermath, boy, they were on fire today and took the victory 3-1. So give props up to Psionic Aftermath. Yeah, so follow them on Twitter and on Facebook. And they also have a YouTube channel, so the links are in the chat. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know it was a little bit of a short one today, but I enjoyed it, and some of the people that I know and have hung out with recently have been in the chat with me. So I hope I did a good job. But yeah, I think we're going to be able to call that. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is Kidnot01, and we will see you next time.